Hello, everyone. I'm Yvonne, a children's librarian here at the Manchester City Library, and I want to welcome you all to our fall STEAM-powered stories. These story times are aimed at grades 3 to 5 and have a science, technology, engineering, art, or math component. Our story portions and our kits are actually going to be given out exclusively in person at the library. So please visit our website and register for those if you are nearby and are able to join us. But I also thought that we could continue posting some of our crafts and activities here so that we can share them with as many people as possible. So that being said, I'd really like to get into this week's STEAM-powered story. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Halloween edition, our All Hallows Eve edition of STEAM-powered stories. I hope that you guys are excited and ready to do some spooky things. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We do have some fun reading material at the library if you want to get your last-minute scary stories going, or some not so scary that are just still fun and Halloween themed. So I'm going to get right into our activity, which I'm really excited about. So our activity for our All Hallows Eve STEAM-powered story is going to be our levitating orb. Now this can be a little bit tricky to figure out at first, but it's really cool. And even if you don't do it on Halloween, it can be basically a cool magic trick all the year around. That is, of course, explained by some science. So what we're going to need to do is to have gathered your supplies. This is our mylar tinsel. Now this is a millimeter wide, which is pretty thin, as you guys can see. And it does need to be that thin to be able to float like we are going to try and make it do. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 6 strands of our tinsel. All right, so we've got our 6 strands, and what we're going to do is we're going to just tie it in a knot on one end. Okay, and then about 6 inches in between the knot and our next point, then we're going to go ahead and tie another knot. Okay, and we're going to cut the extra tinsel off. All right, then we have something that we are going to levitate our orb with. What is suggested by some sources is a piece of PVC pipe. If you do not have one of these, that is okay, although it does look pretty cool as sort of a magic wand when you do it. You can also just use a regular balloon. You're also going to need to get something to rub your balloon or your pipe on. So you can use your hair, you can use a clean piece of fabric. Now your hair and something like wool is going to do really well because we are trying to get a static electricity charge, which is how we are going to end up levitating our orb. But as long as you have a nice clean piece of fabric, we can try. Like I said, this is a little bit tricky because it does rely a little bit on the weather. So if you are trying to do this in a really hot or humid place, that could make it more difficult. So if you're trying to do it and it's not working, maybe wait for a drier, cooler day and try again. But we're gonna go ahead with what we've got here. So I have got some felt that I'm going to use. And basically what you want to do is you want to rub your pipe or your balloon. You can also rub your balloon like on your hair. I'm sure you guys have tried that before. And basically you're going to want to rub it until when you put it over your arm, you get that like staticky feeling, you know? and then you know that your balloon or whatever you're using is ready. So if you also put your tinsel orb, that is going to be your levitating orb, onto a piece of fabric and also sort of like brush that down a little bit, I think that it helps because what we're going to be doing is basically making it so that both our items, our balloon or our stick and our orb, are both going to be negatively charged. And I don't know if you guys have heard the term that negatives attract, but what that means is in magnetism, a positive pole of a magnet and a negative pole of a magnet will attract each other. But if they are both negative, they will repel. And that's what we're trying to get to with our orb and our balloon or our lovely pipe. So I'm going to go ahead and try and get that prepared, and hopefully we can show you that in action here. All right, everyone, so there was a quick change in plans. As I said, sometimes the science experiments don't work quite right away. So what I ended up doing is I ended up going and getting my nice wool sweater here, because wool is, the hair of a sheep, and just like our hair can get some really good static electricity going, wool is actually one of the best things to get that static electricity charge. So I've got my wool sweater, and we're going to go ahead and try to do this levitating orb experiment again. I think that it is good once we charge our balloon or our PVC pipe. I find that it can be helpful to kind of like run the tinsel ball or tinsel string that we're going to be using against that fabric as well, just to make sure that both pieces are going to be negatively charged to start with. Theoretically, if you drop it, it will get that negative charge, but in practice, I found that sometimes it just goes and sticks immediately. So anyway, we're going to try this again. Hopefully we'll get some really good results that you can see in the frame, because again, this is one that it can get a little bit away from you if you're not careful. All right, let's go. All right, here we got it, guys. Just gotta make sure it doesn't get too close to anything else, because as I'm not sure if you could see, but as soon as our levitating orb gets too close to anything else that is not negatively charged, because in general, things around us, including ourselves, are going to be positively charged. So as soon as it gets too close to anything in the area, including yourself, it's going to stick immediately to that thing, and then it will no longer levitate, because the tinsel will get that positive charge on it, and it won't have that really cool effect, and it'll just start sticking as opposed to pushing each other away. All right, so I am going to go ahead and try and show you how it works with the balloon, and we'll see how that goes, just so that you guys can see that you don't necessarily have to have a piece of pipe to have some fun with tinsel, especially if you have siblings or friends that you want to do this with. As long as you guys have a little bit of tinsel and a few balloons, then you can do it. So we're gonna see if we can demonstrate that as well. All right, I hope you guys saw that part, because again, it's really hard to do this in a closed space, but we definitely got the tinsel into the air, levitating with the balloon as well as with the PVC pipe. So I hope that gives you encouragement to try doing this at home with what you have. You guys, good luck and enjoy your experimenting. All right, so We are also going to go ahead and make a glow-in-the-dark cling, window cling today. So what you're going to need to get together for this is, of course, your glue, a small container, some glow-in-the-dark paint. Unless your glue is already glow-in-the-dark, you can also use a glow-in-the-dark powder if you have that instead of paint. A piece of wax paper, a surface that you can do this on, as well as protection for your surface. I also have a little stir stick that I'm going to be using, and I decided to use a cookie cutter that it is okay for me to use glue on. But you can also just do this freehand, or if you want to make your own kind of outline with like hot glue or foil or anything like that, that's also okay. Just remember that if you do need help, to be sure to get that from an adult or someone who is able to use whatever it is you're trying to use. Okay, so once you've got all of your supplies, you're going to take your container here. You're going to then put some glue in your container. Then go ahead and take your paint or your glowing pigment, if you need to, and add some of that to your glue. It's up to you how much. The more you add, the brighter it's going to be, but you do need the glue to stick it all together, so don't put too much in. And I'm going to go ahead and stir it up. And now I'm going to go ahead and pour my glowing glue mixture into my outline, which I'm going to set firmly onto my wax paper. Firmly onto my wax paper, which is on the cardboard, which I put it on cardboard just in case I need to go and put it somewhere. I can move it without it getting messed up. And so we're going to go ahead and pour. Then I can use my stir stick to just make sure that the glue gets all around my mold kind of evenly. Then I think I might actually add just a little bit of extra with my glow-in-the-dark glue. I'm going to put some like little stripes on my pumpkin. So there I have my beautiful glow-in-the-dark window cling. Now this is going to take a while to dry. With my practice one, it took about 24 hours, so that's going to be like a full day. So if we want to go ahead and put that aside somewhere safe, where it can dry for that time. I can show you though, I did this one earlier, and basically what I did was the same thing, but with Blue Ghost. And so after the 24 hours pass, what you want to do is go ahead and peel the wax paper off the back. And you just want to peel that away carefully. And then you're going to have your little window cling inside of your outline if you used an outline. And then I just carefully kind of punched that out this way until I had my wonderful glow-in-the-dark window cling ready to go. I can't really show you guys at the moment. I'll try and show you a picture of it later, but it does glow in the dark. And so if you're going to stick it on a window, again, with like most of our steam stuff, you are going to want to ask to make sure it's okay to stick this on a window, because it may leave just a little bit of glue residue behind, which is again why we used some washable Elmer's glue, so it will wash off if you guys stick it on a window. What you do is you just get it a little bit wet on the back, just a tiny bit, and then you just stick it right on, and it will glow from both sides and hopefully add some fun Well, this guy would only be cute, but you know, cute scary is also fun for your Halloween. So hopefully if you guys want to add some extra last minute decorations, you might be able to do this. Hope you guys had fun. Hello everyone, and welcome to the craft section of our All Hallows Eve steam-powered story. As usual, if you guys came to our in-person steam-powered stories here at the Manchester City Library, you will have gotten a kit for this craft, which this week is going to be our Screaming Ghost. If you weren't able to come to our in-person steam-powered stories, if we have extra kits, they will be out in the glassed area in the foyer right before you come into the children's room at the Manchester City Library this week. They are there until they are gone. So if you come in early, hopefully you'll be able to pick out a pack. But if not, what you have to gather is, we've got 2 balloons. We have a penny, and we have what is called a hex nut, because it's got 6 sides on it, which is a hex. And then I also got a permanent marker, so we can draw ghost faces on our balloons. So this is pretty simple, but really fun. What we're going to start with is one of our balloons. Let's take this white one, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a face on it. You can also draw a face on it after you've blown it up, but I think it's kind of fun to see like what happens to what you draw as you blow it up. Kind of like a reverse shrinky-dinks, if you guys have played with those. Okay, got my face. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the hex nut and I'm going to put it into the mouth of the balloon so it falls all the way down to the bottom. And this you want to be a little bit careful of, because we are going to blow up the balloon, but you want to make sure that the hex nut stays down here and that you take the balloon away from your mouth when you go to inhale to get more air to blow into the balloon, because it is possible to kind of swallow the hex nut if you're not careful. So be careful. If you need help, remember it's okay to ask. All right, here we go. Also, I don't want to blow it up too big because there is a hex nut rolling around in there and we don't want to accidentally pop our balloon. So like maybe let a little bit of air out. Okay, that feels good. And I'm going to go ahead and tie this off. Okay, I don't know if you guys can actually see my Screaming Ghost face. This one might have gotten a little bit dim for you guys to see, although I still think it's funny. So. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do the second one just the same way, but this time we're going to use the penny. Remember what I said about blowing up the balloon and being careful? But we're going to repeat what we did the first time. Okay, so we have our ghosts, but I know that you guys are going to be saying, well, what about the screaming? Okay, the screaming comes next. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of hold our balloons from the top. You can do it from the bottom, but I want my little ghost to be facing me. What you do is you take your ghost and you kind of rotate like this and you get it spinning. It might take a moment, but starts rolling around and making a nice high-pitched ghost scream, which I think is great and hilarious. But so we have that. We also have the one with the penny in it. What do you guys think is going to happen when we start rolling the penny around? Is it going to be the same as the one with our hex nut? And why do you think that would be? Okay, so spoilers, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So hopefully you guys could hear that okay. It's a little bit softer, but also I think still pretty creepy, the sound that the penny makes. So basically what is happening with our two screaming ghosts is that the items inside the hex nut and the penny are moving around the balloon because of centrifugal force, which we did talk about a little bit in the tornado steam-powered stories. But basically, it's basically the force, which means that the pennies don't go flying out across the room, but instead hit the wall of our balloon and go around in a circle instead of just going as far as they can. Also, we've got the edges of the hex nut and the penny, which are bouncing and vibrating against the latex of our balloon. And that is causing vibrations in the air, which our ears and our brains then interpret as a sound. And because of the differences, because the penny has a rather smooth edge and the hex nut, as mentioned, has those 6 sides, they're going to vibrate differently, in the hex nut's case, louder. And that's what causes the differences in their kind of spooky sounds that they make. So that is basically our Screaming Ghost craft. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that you guys don't torture your families and friends too much with these really cool things that we have made. All right, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining me for our All Hallows Eve steam-powered story today. Remember to pick up a craft kit while they last. If you have not come and picked one up in person, they do also have both our instructions for our Screaming Ghosts and also for our window clings are both included in the kit. Also, remember that we have lots of other fun Halloween books here at the Manchester City Library and books in general. Yeah, I hope to see you guys for our next steam-powered story, which is going to be in 2 weeks. If you do want to join in person, remember to sign up online through our website. Otherwise, I hope to see you again here virtually, where we can do more fun things, projects, and learning together. Okay, guys, bye.